What's going on, Fast and Furious fans? We're going to be continuing on my Fast and Furious review series leading up to Fast X in a couple of weeks, which I am nervously excited about. But before we get into Fast X, we're going to be reviewing every single film in the series leading up to that. I already have my review for the first two up and Hobbs and Shaw, so go ahead and check those out. When it comes down to the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, there is a camp that you lie in. You either absolutely hate this movie or you absolutely think it's one of the most underrated films in the franchise, and that is where I stand. I really enjoy this movie for a lot of various reasons. Not only does it really deviate from the franchise, and this is the only film in the series where it does feel like it's trying something new, but this is considered by a lot of Fast and Furious fans probably the last film in the series, because it is the last film in the series where it does really rely a little bit more on the street racing elements that a lot of fans of the series grew up with and absolutely love, and now to this point really absolutely hate, because it's gone in a whole new different direction when it comes down to the series. But one thing that I absolutely love about this movie is those street racing elements. What Justin Lin was able to do by giving us that international feel, that little look into a new underground valley of street racing, it works for this movie and what this franchise at this point tried to be. And that's something that I absolutely love about this movie. Every single time that I put this movie on, I'm always drawn to the street racing elements about the film. And the way that Justin Lin is able to handle the street racing elements, it works in its very contained world that he is trying to establish. The film stars Lucas Black as a teenager that really does not look like a teenager. Little Bow Wow, Natalie Kelly, Sung Kang, and Brian T. Not only is this the first film in the series that is directed by Justin Lin, but it's also the first film in the series that is written by Chris Morgan, who went on to write 4 through 8, and we're going to be getting into the later series as to why he is the most important writer in the series. But when it came down to the writing, yeah, some of the dialogue to this day is a little bit cringy, but some of it is actually pretty fun, and I really enjoy what Chris Morgan is able to bring to this franchise. Not only is he able to bring a new little perspective to the series, but his writing is kind of sharp at times, and whenever he is able to sprinkle a little bit of comedy here and there, he is able to do it well, and it actually works from time to time. I really like the introduction of the Yakuza in this movie. When they introduce the Yakuza and a lot of the drifting, those sequences work, and they work very well. When it comes down to the characters, they're really not the best, but they serve the purpose for what they were trying to do in this movie. And I think Sean in this film is kind of the weakest of the characters. He's not really charismatic. He has that southern drawl, and it works at times. Other times it just starts to grain on you, but that does not take away the enjoyment from the film. And I like the relationship that they were trying to build for Sean and Neela in this movie. I thought it worked very well. But I don't think the chemistry between Lucas and Natalie really worked all too well. They really don't get a lot of moments to shine together. But that's not really why you're showing up to the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. You're showing up for the drifting, and I absolutely love a lot of the drifting sequences, especially when Sean is trying to get used to drifting. And when those sequences absolutely work, they work very well. They're high stakes, they feel real. With every single drifting sequence, you just feel the cars just zooming by, and you just feel every single thing. Aside from the drifting, the only character that you kind of really want to show up for in this movie, and it's not just because he is one of the fan favorites that goes on into the series, but when it comes down to Sung Kang's Han, he was absolutely fun, and he has one of my favorite quotes of probably the entire series, maybe.
It's trust and character I need around me. Yeah, who you choose to be around you lets you know who you are. Life's simple. You make choices and you don't look back.
Plus, the thing that I absolutely love about this movie is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is absolutely great. Whenever you go into a Fast and Furious movie, the soundtrack is always fire, and it absolutely revs your engine, and I absolutely love. I think this might be my favorite film in the series with the best soundtrack, either this one or 7, because I really love the music that they incorporate with the series. Plus, this is also the first film in the series where Brian Tyler does the score for the film, and we've just barely heard his music in the Super Mario Bros. Movies, and he is one of my favorite composers working today, because whenever he is attached to a project that he is composing, he absolutely knocks it out of the park, and I have loved his music for a long while, and whenever he is conducting a Fast and Furious movies, my ears are always on the ground because he is absolutely a maestro when it comes down to the music that he composes in the film series and every single project that he is attached to. Now, with those positives and mixed elements out of the way, let's go into a couple of the negatives that I have for this movie. Like I said, the writing for this movie and the characters are not the best. Some of them are, some of them are not. At times, I was not a fan of Brian T's DK character. I think he feels like a spoiled brat at times, and that's just all he is. He's just the jealous boyfriend, the spoiled brat that feels like he's entitled to almost everything. But at times he does work, and there are moments where I actually do like him. Other times he just doesn't rub me the right way, but you know what? He has his moments here and there, so you can't really blame that all on him. Plus, the first 15 minutes of this movie is absolutely atrocious, and it really doesn't work where you have this girl who is basically offering herself up, which at this point in time would not be a scene that would play out very well, and it's probably one of those scenes that has not aged well. I don't think this movie is as awful as a lot of people make it out to be. I think this movie is a lot of fun. Yeah, I can see how some people would absolutely think that this is the worst film in the series or probably one of the worst films ever made. I wouldn't go that far, but I think this is underrated in the series. There are a lot of more elements that I enjoy a lot more than some people probably. There are a lot of elements in this film that make it a lot of fun, and I really enjoy a lot of these moments. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift a 7 out of 10. Like I said, I understand why some people will not like this movie, and I can see why some people consider it the last film in the series, mostly because this is the last film in the series to really deal with the street racing elements before we go into the superhero genre. But I think this film really doesn't get the credit that it deserves. I really like that they were trying to branch out and try something new, and to me it actually worked, and it's one of the films that I absolutely go back to the theaters and watch every single time it's been in theaters because I just love the drifting sequences. That's really what you go for in this film. You don't go for the characters, you don't go for anything else, you just go for the drifting sequences, and for the most part I was left very entertained with those drifting sequences. But those are my thoughts on the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is underrated in the series, or do you think it's one of the worst films in the series? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more. Click that bell notification so you get notified every single time that a video pops up. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.